Well, 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 ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very, very, very long time indeed. Welcome back to FTRL. Welcome back to Gran Turismo. Not as you would have seen it for quite some time. We're now on Gran Turismo 7, a completely new game. A lot of things have changed since we've last done a stream. I have got a cat called Steve. He will scream probably throughout the duration of this stream. T. Smith got engaged. So we can all write L in the chat for his newly crowned, I call her, fiance. Ross still sleeps with his sister. Multiple things. But one thing that's never going to change is we've got the magnificent Mr. Lee Cole in the commentary booth. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hello all, I'm very good, Aaron. How are you?
I'm good, mate. This has been a long time.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
I feel like I'm starting all over again.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'll do all the old usual, make sure everyone likes and all that stuff. Keep the comments coming in throughout the races, and we'll try and keep it as interactive as possible.
I've got one very important thing that's new.
Oh, what?
Which is, of course, Mike's got a beanbag.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, how did I forget? Yeah, so FTRL, just Mikey H, as we all know. You know, the really good, consistent racer that we've had in FTRL for years. You know, that's got loads better over the years he's raced with us. He's got a beanbag. It was quite a shocking revelation. There was a lot of family issues that come up, but he persisted, and we're all really proud of him here at FTRL. So, marvellous. We couldn't be happier for you, Mike, and good luck. Good luck going forward in your future endeavours. Right, back on to slightly more serious business. So we are back. Like I've said, this is going to be a permanent thing. The races aren't actually going to be live. So we made the decision, because Gran Turismo 7's got quite a good replay feature. It meant that all of us that are actually taking part in the commentary, which will rotate across the season, we have the opportunity to actually all race together. And then we're going to stream the races on a Sunday evening. Me and Lee will predominantly take kind of charge of all of this, I would have thought, with a few special, in many different ways, guests across the course of the season. So just before we get into race one, I'll quickly talk you through the format for the season. So there are there's supposed to be 16 drivers on the grid. We'll talk about the absentees in week one, which was solid, very shortly. So 16 drivers, 8 teams of 2, over 8 weeks. So it'll be an 8-week season. There'll be a mixture of sprint races, which will consist of lapped races that will work out roughly around 25 minutes long per race. And then the endurance races, which there's 2 of this season, they will last around 45 to 50 minutes, and that'll just be one big race. So the sprint races, which is what tonight is, it's around the Lago Maggiore GP circuit, an FTRL favourite. This one had a 5-minute qualifying session at the start, and Lee will talk you through the qualifying order of that very, very shortly. And then it will be a 14-lap race. It'll be rolling starts. So rather than grid starts, it'll be a nice rolling start. And then for race 2, we'll reverse the grid from race 1's finish. So nice and simple. The only thing to make you aware of, so the main championship kind of permutations are that there are 8 different Group 3 cars to use over the course of the season, each of them different and unique in their own way. Some are more handling cars, some are more straight line speed cars, some of them are all-round cars, and people basically can get to use their cars 1 week each across the course of the season. And once you've used that car, you can no longer use it again for the rest of the season. So for the sprint races, obviously you'll get to use it twice because it's on the same night, but you get the point. And it's all about trying to work out how you can do everything, because you can't have the same car as your teammate on the same week. So hopefully this makes sense. There's 8 weeks, 8 different cars you've got to use over the course of the season, and you can't use the same car as your teammate. The one final rule that we've got in place is you get 1 point for pole position on the sprint races. You get 2 points for pole on the endurance weeks. And the final rule is that some of the drivers have wild cards to use over the course of the season. So we've selected some drivers that will have the chance to use like a double points week. So I'll just quickly take you through who they are. So myself, Pagani and Mr. T. Smith, we don't have a wild card between us, so we have no weeks where we can use double points at any stage this season. You've got Kuska, Lee, Mr. Blue Flag, Ross, SBY, and Captain Chubbs. They all have one each. And then we've got Graham, Peatman, Steph, who's making a return to FTRL this season, Mikey, of course, Cats, Panda, and Jonesy, who all have two. So also welcome back to Peatman. So the grid will be fairly similar to what you all know it as. A couple of returning drivers, a couple of new drivers, and yeah, it should be a cracking season. So as we get into I'll click into the replay feature. And Lee, if you want to take us through the grid and the cars before we get going.
Right then, so welcome to week 1, Lago Maggiore, of course a favourite of FTRL as mentioned, and a favourite of the man who stuck it on pole. It was the man opposite me in the commentary box, Aaron's Taylor, bagging his first pole position of the season in the Subaru BRZ. Of course, this is new to GT7. Of course, on the last game you were given only the Impreza Group 3 car. Now we have a second option for Subaru, which of course is just featured in their Super GT Championship. And it's definitely one of the handling cars, not the quickest in straight lines, so perhaps a bit of a risk around here. However, the man opposite me here has got bags of pace out of this car around the circuit, and he takes a pole position. Followed by his ever-present shadow, it is, of course, Pagani. Then he is racing in the, also new to GT7, the Genesis G70, then I believe it's a Korean manufactured car, so nothing I've ever seen in real life before, but yeah, nice looking model. And Pagani there wearing one of his favourite supercars livery, and he starts P2 for week 1. Behind him then the reigning champ, the man that everybody has to beat, is Mr. T. Smith in a very beige Alfa Romeo 4C. Depending on which angle you've got, you may see a slightly inappropriately dressed woman there on the left rear panel, just in front of the rear tyres.
That's actually Ross's mum. Sorry to jump in. That's Ross's mum. Yeah, she's a former glamour model, and they wanted to pay homage because they're teammates this season. Her favourite colour is beige. It's just a bit of a tribute to Ross's mum. So yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's all right. No problem at all. There we go. So he starts P3 in the Alfa Romeo. Again, another one of the handling cars around here. Starting P4 is former GT2 champ SBY, and he's gone big in the first week then in the AMG Mercedes. He is teaming up with Peatman, returning Peatman. Starts P4. P5 is my teammate for the season, RAA Kuska, in the Genesis as well. I found some interesting things about Kuska this weekend. Apparently, if you add alcohol to him, he gets both very patriotic and very political, which is probably why we're a good match as teammates. So yeah, we'll share more details as we go along. P6 then is Captain Chubbs, also starting in the AMG in week 1. Obviously, people will know him from our F1 side, but now making the leap into the GT world and getting quicker and quicker. Showed some good flashes of speed last season, started this season very strongly with a P6. P7 is Aaron's teammate for the season. It's Graham, and he is in the Hyundai Genesis.
Go on, Graham.
Confused with the Genesis G70. It's of the same name, but similar car. And one of the sort of all-round cars, I think, Genesis. Not the quickest in straight line, but handles better than some of the other cars, the Suzuki. So expecting big things from Graham this season. He had some standout races as well. Finished, I think, got a podium on the last race of last season as well. So big things expected of Graham this season. P8 is Beanbag, aka just Mikey H. He is also in the Hyundai for week 1. He's teamed up with Pagani this season. P9 is yours truly. I was in the Subaru in week 1, so watch out for me. It all going spectacularly wrong for me this week. P9 is FTRL Panda, also in that Subaru. He this season is teamed up with Blue Flag, who is just behind him in P11 that started the first week in the Suzuki. Now, Sai picked his cars by a random wheel generator, and the wheel was not kind to him in week 1, as you will see as the night goes along then. So the Suzuki VGT car, Suzuki, of course, brand new manufactured GT7, so first time we've seen that car on track. P12 is next to Cats. He is teaming up with Jonesy. No, he's not Jonesy. He's with Steph this season, isn't he? He's P12. He starts in the Subaru as well. And 13th on the grid this week is Peatman, who is also in the Subaru BRZ. Missing this week, Ross had internet issues. So there was no Ross, and we're also missing Jonesy and Steph from week 1. But that's your runners and riders then for race 1.
Wonderful. Right. Well, I'll just give you a quick update also as well. Prototype Steph was him and Jonesy were missing for 2 very different reasons. So Steph was actually going out for a belated Valentine's meal with his lovely other half, and Jonesy was actually supposed to be at Maggiore, but he decided he got too distracted on the way there, complaining about the route he had to take into the racetrack. So Jonesy missed completely off of his own bat there. So hopefully we'll get Jonesy there for next week. We've told him it's a day earlier than it is. It'll give him enough time to get there without him moaning. So, but we are all systems go. So ready for round 1 of the championship. And I mean, I don't know whether I'll refer to myself in first or third person this evening. I'm just gonna fucking give it some either way. Right, we are getting ready for lights out. Like I said, it's a rolling start, and away we go. So anxious moments as we go to cross the line. Pagani very, very close in that Genesis directly behind me. The Subaru has got horrendous acceleration, as you'll see as we go down towards turn 1. Pagani doesn't make it too difficult for me. Does look towards the outside, but cut quite nicely over turn 1. Braking nicely for turn 2. Keeping it nice and tight as we flick down the grid. Everyone's got away fairly cleanly so far, Lee.
Yes, you probably want to look at that P8 though for the next couple of corners. Yeah, sweep through the left and right of the chicane.
On board with Beanbag.
The first incident of season 19 goes to Mikey. They're out the curve and exit. Genesis snaps on him and into the wall he goes.
It's absolutely fitting.
And then it again into the wall and around he goes. First spin of season 19 on the way on lap 1 there. So unfortunately for Mikey, not the dream start.
Absolutely not. Back to the leaders. So Pagani and I managed to get a relatively nice gap quite early on, actually. T. Smith is occupied by a very, very fast Mr. SBY directly behind him, basically pushing him through the middle sector.
Battle as well, T. Smith from the Alfa Romeo, which is it's not bad straight line speed the Alfa Romeo, but not really a match for the Mercedes. Defending the inside hard into the hairpin on lap 1. Looking for the switch back. The hill, then that Mercedes Grud trying to draw him alongside. He's on the outside though for the left-hander. Just side cross there. Flick into the right-hander. Genesis then behind as well. On the inside now. Looking. Door slammed very firm. A beige door slammed very firmly in his face.
We've had a request for you to turn up ever so slightly, Lee. Now we have to be careful for those that have requested, because sometimes there's a little bit of echo, so we'll try if you can turn up a bit, Lee. If it echoes a bit, just let us know and we'll get that rectified. Thank you very much. But heading towards lap number 2, so Pagani and myself leading the way. T. Smith was closed the gap ever so slightly and giving himself a little bit of breathing space from SBY behind. Custer in 5th, Captain Chubbs in P6 in that rather chunky Mercedes AMG. Graham behind in P7, going along well. And Lee's picked up a penalty, half-second penalty, which differently on this game to what was used to on GT Sport. You used to be able to just bleed them in the corners or slow down at your own kind of leisure, whereas this game will make you serve it at a certain point at every single track on that lap. So you'll see lots of chopping and changing of positions. If anybody randomly slows down, then you know why. So Panda in P9 battling with his teammate, Mr. Blue Flag.
Captain those two as teammates as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so we're actually doing an FTRL meet at Brands Hatch again in May, and Blue Flag and Panda will be there together. Now, last time those two were at Brands Hatch via GT Sport, Blue Flag decided to send it as hard as he possibly could up into turn 2 at Druids and just smashed into the back of his then teammate FTRL Panda, punt him off, continue on like nothing had happened, and didn't say a word. So Panda putting some pressure on Lee as we go into the hairpin.
He served. Just a hold on position for now. But,
oh, Mr. Smith, he's had a moment.
Smith, yeah, Mr. Unflappable has flaps as Tim Smith out of the gravel. And around goes the Alfa Romeo then. So
we can actually take
it's rare to see a mistake.
A 10-second look back actually. Let's go on board with the mistake, with the fuck up. This is your champion. This is the so-called GOAT.
Making too far to the gravel. Sean there, Cusker as well, having a massive tank slack on exit. Genesis managing to pull it around the Alfa Romeo, however, no such saving that.
And Mr. Smith tucks back into P12, and Mikey is he's doing his best. He's doing his best.
I think off camera he's had another incident somewhere.
Well, yes, I think we would go back to all of Mike's incidents, but I mean nothing would make me happier. However, it might be a long stream, so we have to be time conscious. But heading towards lap number 3, I've just gone with a 52.9, which was actually quicker than the pole time. So I tried my best to pull up a bit of a gap to the ever-present Pagani in P2, but as you know with him, it's hard to shake off.
His biggest strength is he is just so consistent.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get away from him. He doesn't really make mistakes either. Like T. Smith, these two are just so consistent, so precise, very difficult to shake off, and that's why they have so many wins and championships between them.
Yeah, and it's why I can never beat them. So it's everybody that knows anything about our previous GT history knows that I will just finish either 3rd or 4th every season. So yes, either way, Pagani was certainly pushing me to my limits. Sean had created a bit of a gap to P4 where Chubbs was pushing the quite laggy Cusker. You might see him jumping about a little bit. That's just Irish potato internet. That's to get used to that over the course of the season. Graham as well, going strong, good lad. Panda's got past Lee.
Indeed, good place this week there, man. Out of the grass as well, so just struggling a little bit to get the super return through that section. You know, it's quite a very good car through the corners. Just in the dirty air is a big problem on this game. A lot of the big streamers have commented on the dirty air problem when you're following a car. In these GT3 cars, they are quite sensitive to aero. A little bit there, but hanging on to his coattails at the minute though. Graham, meanwhile further back, Captain made his way ahead of Sai, who just served a half-second penalty, covering T. Smith on their tail as well. Suzuki there, Cats again. Pretty nice speed, the Suzuki, but not great through the corners. Right-hander.
T. Smith picks up a half-second penalty, so just got through past a couple of the drivers. I was using smelly English Sky Internet, Cusker said. So lap number 4, T. Smith still caught between Cats and Blue Flag in that little battle for ninth. He gets a nice run out of turn 1, but Si of course will push him wide. I just say, I've no idea. I don't want to thought to myself, oh, we've gained a random fan. It's Cusker, it's just now Kevin. So that's now changed my life. T. Smith to the outside of the uphill right will try and cut back on Blue Flag, who will 100% sacrifice his race time to brake on the apex to make sure that you don't get past, as we all know.
That was that P9. That P9's Cusker.
And he's just completely cut the corner there to make sure that he stays ahead of T. Smith. Surely that's a penalty inbound.
There's some bits here you can take quite a lot of that section and get away with it. However, sometimes we see later, maybe in race 2, quite a few people complaining of bizarre penalties later on.
Well, I've had a request to turn down the game volume. Now, I'm not sure how I would do that from here, to be honest. Do you have any ideas, Lee? Bear with me a moment, everyone. Let me just get round to end lap number 4. I will just pause and see if there is anything I can do. Because I'm conscious, obviously, I don't want to close anything down. I don't think I can. I'll have a look between the races. I'll just speak a bit louder. And I'll do my best to try and get it altered for race number 2. I apologise, everyone, if it's a bit loud. It's been a while since we've done this. However, if you look in the top right-hand part of your screens, everybody, on the track map, you'll see a particular blue triangle, which is not facing the way that it's supposed to be. So let's just have a look at what's Mike. Right, that's Mike. Lovely. Right, let's go back 10 seconds. Or is there maybe a puff of smoke? So I'm just going to quickly check the party audio mix. Is that a thing on here, Lee? Do you know? Apologies, everyone. Apologies. Don't go anywhere. Voice chat settings. I don't know. Is that a thing? I'm just trying to see. Can you see anything, Lee? Sorry, PlayStation 5s. I don't really know how they operate in terms of adjusting anything like that. There should be a way I can turn down the game volume from my main settings. However, I worry that will just close down this first race. So, yeah, we'll get back to it. But let's go back on board with Mikey and press play. Coming through the middle S's. Oh, he's full committed. He's kept his foot down. He's still going. Oh, he's revving it, giving it some. Just showing off to the crowd there. Yeah, it's fine. He's fully revving that car out of there. This is
just powers his way out of that.
Yeah. And he's off.
There we go.
And he's away. Good lad. Right, back on board. Start of lap number 5. So the gap, I think at this point, I've got up to about a second and a half to Pagani, maybe up to 2, or getting close to it. But yeah, he was certainly pushing me.
Yeah. 2 seconds, yeah, so at this stage, inching that gap away there, using the super strength of the corners. Pagani was conscious of his tyre wear, so he shifted his brake bias back, so he wasn't handling as he would have liked. So it's a good job there, making sure comfortable. Himself also having a nice gap over Cusco's up jumps, again within striking range, Graham there as well, then Will herself, having a little bit of a train, just some comfortable gaps, so nobody's really under pressure at this stage. So any mistake would be penalised. Further backs. P9, that's Suzuki looking particularly twitchy up the hill. That's behind them, Peatman also just on their coattails.
There we go. So T. Smith still sat behind blue flag at this point. So blue flag would have been absolutely just frothing at this, knowing that he will not go forward any more positions. However, he will keep someone behind him, and we all know that's his absolute preference. So
I say frothing, but frothing would require some air to be coming out of his mouth.
That's true.
That would not have happened.
Yeah, that is true. So just going increasingly more purple in the face. As I say that, he runs wide. T. Smith's going to have a bit of a run to go on board. He's had a good run out the final corner.
Oh. Got to the inside, but the Alfa Romeo then hooks up nicely.
Give him a bit of a squeeze out. Can the Suzuki hold it around the outside? I'm going to assume not in that car. And through goes Mr. Smith. Let's see if he can push up his way towards yours truly, Mr. Lee Cole. A good few seconds gap.
Makes it though. Getting away with it. With a clear track in front of him.
And there's just some steady gaps. Yeah, some steady gaps all the way through.
And showing a good pace. As he's made the transition to his wheel full time now, and looking deep that time. This was the you almost went wrong from there. On the outside of the uphill hairpin, out of the grass, just onto the AstroTurf. So a little bit of time.
I mean, I would absolutely love to give Mr. Panda the credit of moving onto his wheel, but I can confirm he was not. But yeah, no, he did half a race last season, to be fair to him, and just immediately hated it. So hopefully one day it will come. But no, everyone's fairly spread out at the moment. So yeah, I think first race of the season, not too many risks. You'll probably see more action in race 2, obviously with the reverse grids. The pace was fairly consistent and gradual throughout the field, and Mike was still going. So good lad.
I feel that this week felt like a lot of people were sacrificing what they thought would be one of their worst cars at a track that they've been not too keen on. I know obviously you're a big fan of Maggiore, but even like Tom, just for the sake of a big fan of it. myself. I don't mind Maggiore, I'm not a huge fan of it, so I think out of everything on the calendar this season, it's one of my weaker tracks. So to me, this was the worst track, get the worst car of the day, and then the rest is a bit more competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's all about strategy for the course of the season. Obviously, trying to maximise what cars you're going to use at what tracks. Like I said, you can only use each one once, so it's definitely some tactics and some planning and a lot of varying factors that go into the season. I'm going to go on board with Pagani, as I believe he's got purple first sector, and at some point during the middle of the race he got into a bit of a groove, should I say. Obviously not with no spoilers, but
turn the brake lines forward a bit to just give himself a bit more bounce. Starts drawing back in on the bumper.
Absolutely does.
And the dirt, so it's pulling all the track there a little bit more. So that Subaru.
He's up just over 2/10 into the hairpin, and that Subaru was it was getting a bit difficult, to be fair. The old because obviously the tyre wear started to kick in, and I had to make some adjustments myself. So
yeah, a bit late in shifting my brake lines back in race one. Struggled with front end grip by the end of the race. It was quite a well-balanced car normally, but quite heavy front tyre wear on the circuit because it's only a 2-minute lap. It's quite a long lap, so a lot of guys going through those soft tyres and the least durable of all the compounds available to us.
yeah, I mean, I think the thing to point out from my perspective as well was when, you know, the two of us were racing, as Pagani crosses the line and does a 53.2, his fastest lap of the race. It was really, really difficult to, I mean, bear in mind that the pole position time was a 53.1, I believe. I did that one lap earlier on, which was a 52.9, but if you look at Pagani's lap times, 53.4, 53.4, 53.3, he had the one little wobble, I think, and then he had a 53.2 and another 53.2. That was like a tenth or two away from a pole time on that pole was on a completely fresh tyres, so to try and stay ahead of him, it was so difficult. And yeah, it was coming along pretty nicely at this point. You can see that he's closed the gap to me quite significantly to what it was. We'll check back in with that soon. Sean was kind of between us and Cusker, who was also on his own, and then there was that little sort of slightly separated train. So Chubb still in P5, Graham P6, Panda 7, Lee 8. Now slowly starting to come under pressure from Mr. T. Smith. Did you have a couple of moments, did you, Lee, or was it just a bit of pace?
I think I was just struggling. I just struggled with pace. Just not looking at this car at all. Really quality there, practice. I wasn't anywhere really struggling. I did 53 a couple of times, but really struggling to extract pace from this car for whatever reason.
Yeah, and you've got Mr. Smith in your rear view mirror.
Track, so.
Yeah. So swung that through there quite nicely, though, I must say, for the old hairpin.
That's probably one of the points where the car is just absolutely superb. There's such good grip. A little bit here, there was a bit more curb. Four around there, picking up a half-second penalty as well. I think he was a little bit confused as to where that had come from as well.
Yeah.
So I can only assume it's from the hairpin. But,
yeah, I'll go back to the leading two. Yeah, Mr. Andy is a big fan of your livery. It's just come into the chat, just popped up on my screen. So lap number 9, just a handful to go. There's still a little bit of separation on the grid. Panda to serve the half-second penalty. You've got Mr. Smith right behind. So we'll go inside the car of Mr. Smith. Watch all the cheating that he does. Of course, the multiple FTRL GT champion, exploiting track limits there horrendously. He's got his dash cam on as well, just in case he has to report anything. Yeah, Lee made some time back up that long right-hander up the hill.
That's what put me off down for America this week, is that braking for the uphill hairpin. That was very twitchy.
Yeah. So bouncing around the Alfa Romeo.
Straight line, just to pull in on the bumper again.
It's a shame that we've not got the split times between drivers coming up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Much under pressure now, though.
Yep.
Inevitability when you get to use with any rebel, unfortunately.
Yep.
Almost there, dropping it right onto the curve on the exit. Just the kind of extremes that you have to do to get the speed out of these cars, and that's why the fastest man. Right to the very limit then. Where inevitably happens then. For Romeo, just a little bit quicker, straight line again, though, touches the grass. Right on the edge of the track, that's the corner, but once that finish straight with the slipstream.
Yeah.
So he goes.
And he's away. And he's next up on the list is Mr. Panda in P7. So not a bad recovery for Mr. Smith from P12 after his earlier catastrophe. We'll call it that. And this little bunch between 4th, 5th and 6th was slowly starting to come together. SVY very much still on a land of his own. Pagani and I had pulled a bit of a gap, still going strong on the lap times, and but SVY pulled away from Cusker. So a really good return for Sean, actually. To be fair to him, we didn't get time to practice all that much this week for the first week of the season, and obviously our last proper season we did, he wasn't able to be there as much as he would have liked. But we know how fast he is, and he will certainly be a man to watch throughout the course of this season. So, and Pagani, meanwhile, is right up my chuff.
Tyre wear situation. This is a little bit heavier on its tyres, front and rear.
Well, that's a first.
A little bit better than the Subaru, though. A little better.
Yeah, it's a first for me to have better tyre wear than somebody else. Using every bit of the track for Pagani out that final corner. Yep.
Immediately onto a bit of tarmac, just helps catch the car.
So we'll keep a close eye on that, but meanwhile Captain Chubbs is just absolutely reeling Cusker in and taking Graham with him. Has a bit of a look down the inside into turn 1. Just letting him know he's there. You see, you was quite right about Mr. Chubbs with the. We all know him from F1. He was he's been in FTRL for a long time in our Formula 1 side, and transitioned as is Graham, of course. But they've both already shown a lot of potential in GT and found themselves at like the front of the mid pack in that little group. So, which is going to make that
a good race last season at Daytona, race 2, I believe he was.
He did.
At the sharp end for a good portion of that race. Pace the pair of them.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys have that little mid-pack behind the front couple of drivers was already really competitive at most of the circuits each week, and now with adding those guys to it as well, it's going to make that group even larger. A wonderful amount of people watching the stream. Thank you so much, everyone. Please do like. We will be doing this permanently going forward now, so that would be quite marvellous. Obviously, sorry for the sound issues. If you are struggling a little bit with that, I'll try my best to rectify it. Chubb's really applying the pressure. Yeah.
On the back of Cusker. You can see the Genesis there, slightly heavier tyre wear than the Mercedes. Graham fairly equal. Yeah, that Genesis just struggling up on its French tyres. Just a bit more brake bias to the rear.
He's not going to look into turn 1, but just going to check in on the leaders. So Pagani, I think, had really committed to trying to close the gap by moving his brake bias forward and everything now, but I think he'd just run out of tyres by this point. I think I remember him saying to me in the at this kind of point in the race when we were talking in the party chat together that that was the best he could kind of give at that point, and I think he'd admitted that his tyres were all but gone from underneath him. We didn't want to jeopardise his race any further, so managed to keep it fairly consistent. I think I'd only done one lap in the 54s at this point, and Pagani had slowly started to creep towards that time, so luckily I was managing to hold on. Sean drove extremely well in this race, but back to the battle for 5th, and we'll keep an eye on Mr. T. Smith as well.
Sure, not very consistent as well. The 3s was a little bit early, but it's the 54.083 and 54.088 the lap afterwards, so very consistent as well. 54.1 the lap following, so he too has been very consistent.
Yeah.
Trump's both in the 55s behind him then, so just got a big slide on exit the hairpin.
I'm going to go on board with Graham and watch this. We'll sit on Graham's bonnet and we'll watch Chubbs and Cusker go at it together. And for those with any form of British touring car knowledge will know that Graham and I are sporting the same livery as worn by BTCC champion Tom Ingram in the most recent touring car season. My favourite driver.
Still waiting for announcements. I'm still crying out for announcements. There's still so many cars and teams to be announced.
Yeah.
Dribbling through at the moment. So, a big picture of what the grid this year's going to look like.
Absolutely. Not long to go. Chubb's really applying the pressure now. And he takes a little look down the inside. Oh, there's almost some contact. Cusker has a bit of a wobble. Chubb's going to apply the pressure. Penultimate lap of the race. Heading down towards the uphill right. He's going to take a look. Great driving from the two of them.
Hanging on around the outside. Up the hill, but
Graham is right there. Chubb's up to 4th.
He's a little bit deep. Cusker a run. Further back. Closing in as well. And T. Smith with him.
So it's gone from being a bit of a gap to a potential 5-car battle for P4. And Cusker really applying the pressure going towards the hairpin for the penultimate time. Is he going to look to cut back? Yep, Chubb goes defensive. Graham gets a good run out. Can he apply the pressure to Cusker up the hill?
Defending, but look at those front tyres on that Genesis, they are absolutely gone. So he continues the battle, the gap behind Sapanda closing in. Run out of laps. As you were up front though, it's now fairly evenly spaced out again.
Chubbs has pulled a bit of a gap to Cusker, so it's just a case of can Cusker hold on to that P5 ahead of Graham. Drive really consistently in this race. And Mr. Panda and Smith right behind. Final lap of the race on the front.
The Panda and T we've got there.
Yeah.
Probably a second and a half at the start of the lap. On the grass.
T. Smith going around the outside of turn number 3. Can he swing it in for turn 4? Yes, he can. Lovely move. Cultured move. Just a shame he's bald.
They're not giving up into the slipstream.
I've just realised that T. Smith's car is kind of like the colour of his head. He's got a bald head. There's a thought for the day. Yep.
Part of the S's. Down towards the hairpin, then the best overtaking opportunity left.
Graham still with a bit of work to do. Can T. Smith do anything in the last half a lap? It seems a little bit unlikely. The front 3 seem to be fairly set as well.
Look at the tyre wear between T. Smith and the 2 ahead of him. That's how good the Alpha is on its tyres, being mid-engine.
Yeah.
At the stage of the race, on the way through though, let's head up the hill. Final time.
we'll go around.
Back a little bit.
We'll go around the final corner, Lee. I don't want to do the honours, so you can.
Okay, out the final corner then to win the first race of the season. It is Aaron victorious at Maggiore.
Go on, me.
Pagani crosses the line in P2, then quite a way back his tyre. Awful at the end there as Sean comes home. P3, starting the season off very strongly. Chubbs, brilliant P4 in the opening round. And to come at the final corner, Kuska just holding on to P5 then in the battle of the Irishman. 5th and 6th for them. T. Smith 7th. Panda is 8th. I'm going to come home in 9th, in a lonely 9th place. P10. God awful Suzuki. Blue flag. Cats come home P11. Shiny Subaru. Peakman on his return then a P12. Penske Pennzoil livery. Subaru and now we wait.
We'll go inside the car with Mike to round out his race. Joking aside for Mike, he's just transitioned onto using the old racing wheel, so give him time. He's already shown some promise. What he has done has pleased me aesthetically, because his lap 9 was a 1:57.000, so that's food for thought in a private moment. But Mikey crosses the line for P13, and that is race 1 complete. So your race 2 start will be Beanbag. Mr. Mikey will be on pole. Peatman will be starting second, should I say. Nexus Cats will be 3rd. Blue Flag 4th. Lee Cole 5th. Panda 6th. T. Smith in 7th. Graham in 8th. Cusker in 9th. Chubbs in 10th. SBY 11th. Pagani 12th. And myself in P13. So that wraps up race number 1 of the season. So we will just exit back. So I'm going to have a quick play around with the settings and just make sure that we are going to provide slightly better sound quality for race number 2. Bear with me a moment. Sound volume, race sound effects. I'm hoping it's not. Sound is good, just turn up Lee, it says. I'll knock this all down 1 then. We'll try that. Maybe that will work. Fingers crossed. Enhanced sound or race BGM focus. No, I don't want to do either of that. Balanced. Okay, well, fingers crossed that should be alright. If not, shut up and get used to it. No, I'm joking. We'll see if we can fix it for next time if it is still dodgy. Replay. So race number 2. So just whilst we're loading in for this, Lee, do you want to talk everyone through about like the importance of the reverse grids and the permutations it can have on, on the outcome of the week's results and all that kind of jazz?
Yeah, of course. Well, with the reverse grid, of course, the guy who finished last in the first race will start on pole position, which means the drivers who were quickest in that opening race then have to fight their way through. And of course, there is no guarantee that you're going to pick your way through and go forward. Quality of the driving is quite high, very high now in FTRL. So everybody is capable of challenging for victories and for podiums, for top 5s on their day. So it is not a guarantee that the drivers coming from the back will find their way through to the front again, which does give us the possibility of some shock results over the course of the season. Maybe at some of the tight tracks, maybe Brands Hatch later in the season. It's a very tight track where overtaking is difficult, so we might see some shock results as the season progresses. But if you are ready to go,
I am ready to go. If everyone can just let us know, by the way, I've turned Lee's volume up to me in the party settings. Hopefully that makes a difference, and also turned obviously the game volume down ever so slightly. So fingers crossed it should be okay. And we'll get ready and strap ourselves in for race 2. Make sure you've all got your drinks because Mike's leading. Put your feet up because Mike's leading. Invite your friends, share the links because Mike's leading. And you can see where I'm going with this. Right, I'm ready when you are, Mr. Nicole.
Let's go, go, go.
3, 2, 1, go. You can take us away, my friend.
Rolling down, waiting for the green light. So, away we go then. And down towards turn 1, Mikey leading. Further back, already popping out. It was T. Smith. Panda under attack from Graham and T. Smith into turn 1. T. Smith down the inside of both Graham and Will into turn 1. 2 positions gained immediately then before the Alfa Romeo as Cats and Blue Flag go wheel to wheel. And right on the back of that as well. So they weave their way through the left and right chicane on lap 1. So the Cats I go for P4. He's got the speed off the corner on the outside, a little bit of contact. Williams racing. Now T. Smith making it 3 wide, then down towards the hairpin on lap 1. Is this going to end in tears? Not this time. Not yet anyway. More rubbing. T. Smith though very aggressive on the opening lap. 4 wide in the background.
Yeah, Panda, Chubbs, Cusker, SBY. And that's Graham as well. I managed to get past Pagani at the start. We were just completely wedged in. Cars absolutely everywhere. SPY goes off. Manages to recover.
There on the exit. T. Smith tucks into the slipstream of Cats. And then goes to the hairpin.
We're 4 wide at the back. We're 4 wide at the back.
Pagani and Sean fanning out as they go into the hairpin. And getting out ahead of all 3 of them.
Being pushed, being protected by my Lord and Saviour. FTRL Graham, so I'm going to call him going forward.
There's Kusker, Will and Cats 3 wide into the first, the double right-handers. Shift it back a little bit, Will up the inside, Cats trying to hang on around the outside. The grip out there, and Will Kusker's head down the hill. Jonas is there, a little bit more straight line speed, and he's up to 8th place, and so Kusker getting ahead of Cats' Subaru.
And what we will say, what we've missed, is the gap that the beanbag has made already for himself.
Yeah, a very good start, Mike, in this one.
Yeah. So, one question I do have, just like to go ever so slightly off topic, but also on topic. Obviously, with you know how things are in these days, and people can identify as they please. Is this Mike's way of trying to tell us that he now identifies as his purchase beanbag? Is that a thing?
Could be. Move for P2 meanwhile. T. Smith up the inside of Peatman. As he approaches the braking zone for the uphill hairpin. There's P2 then for the reigning champ.
The number 2 driver in the team.
Oh, it's Blue Flag exit stage right.
Oh, he's absolutely bottled it. Let's pause that and let's go and have a look. Back 10 seconds. Let's go on board with Mr. Blue Flag. As he comes right up the hairpin, clips the grass, sends it into the wall. And that Suzuki says, oh dear. Yeah.
Very unfortunate there. The crest. P3. All over the back of Peatman. Chubbs was all over the back of me. So down towards the hairpin.
Nico and Chubbs. Side by side.
In a straight line. And inside he goes.
Lovely move.
Both of us in the move. Great move from Chubbs.
Really lovely move.
And Peatman now side by side. Peatman on the inside for the left-hander. Tucks back in, but then runs a little bit wide and back at the inside of him. Into the double right-hander.
And through you go.
There I go. P4, tucking back in. Kusker, Will, and himself now arriving though.
Yeah, good start to the race. Good start to the race. I was very pleased to be in P8 by the end of lap 2. And on this little pack of cars here, I've got past Pagani and SPY. Thanks obviously to Graham. Nexus Cat still holding on.
Another half-second penalty.
Blue Flag trying to close that gap back in, but the beanbag is looking remarkably comfortable. He's got it moulded nicely.
Now,
yeah.
from 6th Peatman onwards. Of course, just clearing Peatman, but you got Peatman, Panda, yourself, Pagani, Sean, Graham, Cats all in a train.
We'll go on board with SBY for this.
Down the inside, Peatman into the hairpin.
I tried to cut back up the hill and ended up running to the back of him.
One as well.
Go up to see Captain Chubbs.
Yes, this is
in towards the hairpin. Just have an inkling that something might happen. Captain Chubbs goes around the hairpin, drops it, absolutely melts.
Ooh.
He throws it all away.
It's like he caught his handbrake or something there, wasn't it? Very weird accident.
Tries to hit Nexus Cats on the exit. And I've managed to get ahead of Pete up into P6, and I have this swarm of cars behind, and I must admit my my bottom was twitching at this point.
Going down the side of Peatman through the double rights as well.
Just cars absolutely everywhere.
Well, a little bit of teamwork going on for P3. Genesis in a straight line, a little bit quicker. Flash of the orange light there, and Kuska going through. However, you luckily on. So we're okay for a lap. Nothing, I don't think anything's bad's going to happen for a while.
Of course, well, Mr. Smith is.
Spidey senses are tingling, but not yet.
Of course. Many things are tingling for old Beanbag whilst he's up at the front.
I think it's all for the man in P2.
Yeah, all of his sweat glands are leaking. Profusely, great word of the day. But no, it just shows you how fast he can be. But looking forward to when the number 1 driver comes back in Team Beige, the Mongolians.
Pagani down the inside of Sean into the S's. At the apex. Sean hanging on. Switching to the outside then. Get a run as they head up towards the hairpin.
On board with Pagani. Just that AMG power. No
slouch in the straight line, but Pagani picks the outside line.
To cut back. Sean touches that gravel, has a bit of a wobbly.
Big wobble there.
And they're going to go side by side.
The second invitation there, we'll have the outside for the left-hander, but the inside for the right. And that is move done.
And Sean's going to send it back. No, thinks better of it. Graham just keeping an eye on proceedings. Peatman driving well. Cat's driving well behind Chubbs on his recovery. And Blue Flag, I think, has had another moment somewhere because he's dropped off the back. But T. Smith.
Lap 5. He continues to lead.
He does.
4 whole laps completed in the lead of a race.
There was rumours as to who was in Mike's car for the race. Was it his wife? Was it his son? Was it basically anyone but Mike? But he has a wobble on traction, and T. Smith goes through. Mikey's going to try and fight back.
The question is though, behind him P3, are they going to be able to close up?
Oh, it's Kuska, and he goes.
Oh, big snap, and into the wall.
Big smash.
No. Just got on the AstroTurf there. And there's not so much grip there. Unfortunately, the Genesis kicking around there. Graham has to take avoiding action. Chubbs in the background off as well. It's gone a little bit wrong for my teammate. Surely can't get any worse for our team on this lap.
Oh, well. Anybody would think we would know. Hey.
Change for the lead. So T. Smith hitting the front for the first time this season. Unfortunately, probably not the last then as he head down towards the hairpin then. He now leaves Mikey hanging on to him though.
I'm just going to go
and yourself closing in on me.
I'm going to go on board with you here, Lee, just to see, obviously how you take the
last time we were on board, I took this hairpin really well, so maybe I'll do that again.
Of course, yeah. I mean, you swing in nicely, and yeah. Oh. See if you try and hit Nexus Cats as well. Did you do it? When you come back, there he is in the background in that red Subaru. He's flashing his lights. He's scared. Oh.
There I was took up a teammate, but everybody's scattering around me.
Yeah. Chubbs is.
What happened there was I had been going down to second gear for the hairpin, just took those in, and this time I got a little bit hot, and I thought, oh, do you know what, I'll be alright in third gear. And it washed out a little bit, and I got on the power too soon, and dipped my left-hand side tyres in the gravel. And as we saw with T. Smith in race 1, cars do not dig themselves out of that situation.
They absolutely do not. Now, there is a battle forming for P3. FTRL Panda driving incredibly well and consistently. I remember at this point thinking to myself, right, there was a little bit of air between myself and him, and then obviously the two guys at the front. I thought maybe I could just put a couple of good solid laps in, but I just couldn't get close enough to him. He was driving incredibly well at this point. That was the way for the laps. Yeah.
Chubbs and Kuska have resumed battle from race 1 as they're side by side through the S's.
And you can't, Nexus Cat's here as well, and you can't help but feel Chubbs and Kuska are going to find each other a lot over the course of the season. From
seems to be.
Yeah. They have previous and they've have present. It's not really a phrase, but we're going to make it work.
Chubbs then through to P8, recovering after his spin. Kuska recovering from his P9.
They're going to go on board with me. Not that I'd try not to do that too much here, but it's getting close to Panda. Mike appearing ever closer in second. Pagani, of course, right behind, giving me no chance to breathe at any point. Graham said I was terrified of those two driving up to the back of me, so them fighting was music to my ears. He's talking about Chubbs and Kuska. So Mr. Smith leads the way. Beanbag second, Panda third.
6 whole laps without spin.
Yep, it's going strong. Drove really, really well. This Panda runs a little bit wide. Compromised line ever so slightly, but not too bad.
Very much in this battle as well.
As Mike runs slightly wide out the final corner, clips the grass, but he's okay for now.
Tyres. By a little bit better bounce as it catches the grass there.
And you can see by the lap times it's not quite as quick as race 1, but certainly not too far off as Mike runs wide out of turn 2. Panda gets a run. Can he pull the same move that T. Smith did the lap prior? I'm going to try and cut back, and I assume cut back on him again for turn 4. Cultured driver. A bit of a power slide coming out.
Inside as well.
Just letting them know I was there. I definitely didn't outbrake myself.
Moving off the corner there, looks to the inside for the braking zone for the uphill hairpin. Right down the inside. Oh, meet at the apex though, contact.
Well, generous bump from Pagani. There we go.
And Mikey then shuffle back 3 places in 1 corner. Give a little bit back to his teammate though. To the S's.
There we go. Mr. Carp in the chat. Lord Goy.
Lady Goy.
Lady Goy of Carpington. Saying you can milk me anytime. It's completely irrelevant because the milk and mongs have taken the season off. But myself and Panda are going to go side by side down towards the hairpin. Pagani's also there. Am I going to take a look? Can't remember. No, I didn't.
Right on the brakes. They're right on the course on the grass on the inside of the hairpin.
Yeah, I really try not to dive people or send it on people.
There's also now around the bounce. There's now a 5-way battle for P2. Music to T. Smith is as he's just clearing off at the front. As we've seen him do many times before. Chubbs and Kuska Graham in a bit of a no man's land in P7. And you've got Chubbs and Kuska still duelling it out. And Katz, Peakman and myself swapping over 10th, 11th and 12th.
Loads of battles in the reverse grid. This is likely to be the theme. The race 1s will probably be more about the outright racing. Race number 2 I think will be more about the plenty of close scraps and whatnot. This Panda makes a mistake going in towards turn 1. He goes a bit deep. I managed to get the run around the outside of turn 2. Pagani's also there, but Panda manages to stay in front for now, which was very good news for me at that time. Try and run away from that chunky boy.
Also getting moved on Mikey for P5.
And Graham doing Graham things, still lurking around.
I don't think is Graham still lurking. Is he a lurker?
Graham, yeah, Graham's. I feel like if you was looking out of your window, you just always see a Graham just there, just somewhere.
Yes, we may have to go back a little bit and look at me. So I may have had a little incident coming up turn 2.
Okay, we'll go back and find a lead. Oh yeah, there we go. So
too much right foot coming out of the Team 2 hairpin, half spin. Dropped me off the back of
he's absolutely planted it. He's done a mic.
I think I got on the AstroTurf on the inside. It doesn't like that. It unsettles the rear of the car. If you're on the tarmac, it kind of just feeds in there, okay, but now the rear tyres are lighting up. Unfortunately, I go.
Absolutely.
Peakman can't get away, so race to forget for me.
Right, well, I have a ginger feline in front of my screen at the moment now, who's desperate for attention. So I can't really see too much of the screen at the moment, but what I can see is a bunch of blue triangles very close together in the top right hand corner of my screen. There's some battles going on, but nothing too close quarters at this stage, so we'll keep an eye on Pagani and Panda and SBY, because that seems to be the closest little group on track at the moment.
Chubbs also still close together, just pulling each other around. Again, Chubbs' tyre better than Kusker, which will be good to play as the race progresses. So a little bit wide there out of the final corner. Chubbs potentially a run.
I'm just trying to think, actually, we might be slightly unaligned now with our...
yeah, so where are you? Further back from me. That's about it then.
Lap number 9.
Lap 9. Yep.
So T. Smith leads the way. He's got a good few seconds on myself. And I had a Pagani and a Panda and an SPY in close proximity. Then there was a little gap to Graham, who was now under pressure from Mike. Is that a thing?
I think he's just gone past Mike, hasn't he? So hanging on to him. So not necessarily finished. Both in the same car, of course. So it's a good marker for Mike this one, if he can come back at Graham.
Yeah. Anything that happens with Mike on or off track normally finishes pretty quickly.
Just a little bit of indication there of how much smoother Graham is. His tyre wear is slightly better than Mike at the same stage of the race, even though they're in the same car.
Same car, yeah.
Just a little bit harder on the front tyres. He's had a bit of his own, because Chubbs and Kusker also nose to tail again. Down to the hairpin. Chubbs though thinks better of it. Move this time. Dirt on exit there, right on the edge of that curve there. That is just all the track. An absolutely perfect line there from Chubbs on the exit. Back with Will. Touching distance. Some lights there from Panda.
Pagani under some pressure in P3. I must admit I was quite pleased at this stage to see, with 5 laps to go, that Pagani was under a bit of pressure. Solid PPO being shown, as Mr. Karp would say. PPO meaning persistence pays off. It's our Rocket League team name for various reasons we don't need to go into.
Actually, with their half-second penalty as well. There's a twitch coming out of the chicane there.
Yeah, I think at this point in the party, Tom was, you know, I think that's when he started to breathe a bit funny and he was getting a bit sweaty. I think he called his missus to come in and dab him with a dry towel. He was getting a bit nervous. Hadn't been in this position for all season. So, yeah, the mistakes started to creep in, as we'll see. So.
Chubbs and Kusker at this stage, these two still glued together, as they have been all of race 1. His time again, tyre wear, slightly bit better on the Mercedes than the Genesis.
Panda picked up a half-second penalty as well, so that'll be served on lap 11.
Just dust there, it's gone to the curb next to the hairpin there, so that could very nearly have been a big moment for you. So, got away with it.
For me, did I do? What did I do?
Yeah, as you came on the hairpin on the exit, you just kicked up the dirt there on the exit as you got onto the dirt before the curb. On the exit.
Oh, that was for a bet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Nothing to worry about.
Get some dirt there in the background.
No, Mikey going strong in P7 on his own. He's got a nice little gap as well behind, but that does two big mean cars of Cusker and Chubbs. So let's see if Mikey can hold on to that P7. Be thoroughly deserved. Jokes and banter aside, Cat's going well on P10, and Peteman and Lee, you're going side by side at the final turn. Or Pete lifts off.
A bit wide there, so good enough to get the move done.
Yep. And Blue Flag has pulled some time back, but a bit of a lonely one for him in this one. T. Smith, that's another half-second penalty.
A bit frustrating. So, Will's now got 1 whole second's worth of penalty as well, so some random penalties coming up.
Yeah, I think was it at this
he gets
point?
another half second as well, doesn't he? As well,
yeah.
Before he gets his service penalty.
I think this was. I think at this point, I think T. Smith started to cry. I think.
That was definitely his. Blubbering the works. I remember hearing him.
Yeah, he was really, really upset. He was. Just.
Yeah, there it is, half second. So I think that penalty he just got there, Will, is. I think there's a little. If you get the dirt before the curb, it picks up as a cut.
Yeah.
But if you ride the curb and then go off, then it's fine.
SPY goes through. So going to the last few laps of the race, it's T. Smith that leads. Myself in P2, Pagani in P3, SPY 4, Panda in 5th with Graham rapidly approaching. Beanbag in 7th, Cusker in 8th, Chubbs in 9th, and then we've got Nexus Cats, who's on his own a little bit with Lee in the background. Can he do anything in the last few laps? There's quite a gap. Peteman in P12 and Blue Flag in P13.
Cusker and Chubbs now starting to close in on Mikey and put the pressure a bit. And now Mike does so.
Oh, he copes really, really well. Yeah, of course. That's the one thing I think at this point was probably what was in his favour.
Missed the pressure.
Yeah. It's probably in his favour at this point. He knew that the other guys might be a bit quicker, but his composure and everything. If it was a FIFA card, it'd be 9-9.
You'd have a 1-1.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
That's the number of push-ups he did a day as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's also yeah, that's something we can discuss in a later stream about things that have happened since the last stream. Mike's attempted charity push-up challenge. It went really, really well. We'll talk about that another time.
Charity have to give money back because.
Yeah. Oh, Cusker's touched the grass. He's had a moment. And through goes Captain Chubbs. And that battle looks to be all but sealed. Now can Chubbs do anything about Mikey, who's had a slow run through the S's?
Sounds a lot for Cusker, so he needs to be careful for a couple of corners. See if we've got badly with tyre wear in that car, but dirty your tyres as well as Mike. Right under pressure now from Chubbs towards the hairpin.
Is he going to take a look, Chubbs?
Close enough again.
Mikey holds his line. Good driving. Good driving indeed. Just looking on the mini-map, and a few ahead look fairly spread out at this stage.
Just a bit of dirt. Corner. Just easing off a little bit, just stop and get any more penalties.
Yeah, on board Chubbs is literally touching the back of Mike now. Easy.
Probably likes it.
Yeah.
Although Mikey's usually the one who creeps up.
Yeah. Oh, Mikey runs wide. Commits.
To that grass.
Let's be very, very careful. Chubbs pulls to the inside. It feels inevitable now. Can Mikey respond? He tries to outbrake Chubbs. Lucky Chubbs goes through, but good driving still from Mike. Made the mistake, but got his head back together quickly with all that composure he's got. Has a little wiggle out of turn 2 just to show everyone that he's okay and he's still got time for showboating. And the rest of the grid is as you were. T. Smith on the penultimate lap. He's got a solid enough lead. I think at this point my mind frame was just try and stay ahead of Pagani throughout these last couple of laps. SPY.
That Genesis there. Pagani's front tyres.
Yeah.
Particularly worse than everybody around him.
And a flash in the crowd.
Sideways as well through the S's. Some dirt.
Yeah.
I think that he has worse tyre wear than front, about the same actually. I think the rear's on the a little bit worse. Doing a really good job in the tyre wear, which I think will be a big factor in some of these sprint races. So it seems that some of these cars are particularly bad on their tyres.
Absolutely, that car looks superb. Credit to Pagani for creating those liveries, I must say. Always does a fantastic job, and credit to T. Smith for making his. I think it took him 4 business days.
Kuska side by side through the S's. Back at Kuska. Kuska's on the grass. Down the inside. Kuska hanging on to the place, and he won at the hairpin. P8 then for Kuska.
Mikey runs wide, he's going to hit the orange curve, but he's okay.
Yes. Grinding, Tony Hawk style.
Yep. Picked up a penalty for his troubles, and he goes wide again. Hits that one. Uncharacteristic mistakes from Mike.
Mr. Inflammable.
Yep.
The close on Cats.
Final lap of the race, T. Smith leads. The first 4.
Really pedestrian on this lap, wasn't he? I think you got 7/10 on him at one point. Was it even this corner? I think
through this sector here, I closed right up on him. He was he was driving quite slow at this point. Was Tom just trying to secure it? Yeah. God, look at the difference between my tyre wear and Pagani's, and normally that's the other way around.
Quite a heavy car though, James, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's got the front, so you have to really have the brake bias to the rear for that one. Pando and Graham, then the big battle onto this final lap then. Can Graham get within striking distance?
Oh, Pagani with a wiggle. Panda drove really, really well, to be fair to him, especially in this race. I was really impressed with him. It took me ages to get past, and
he pulled away from me in race 1 as well.
It wouldn't surprise me if he picks up a win or 2 this season, and likewise for Graham in P6. I think those guys have definitely got it in them.
Definitely some podiums.
Absolutely.
Double right-hander, double switch from the Subaru, but I think he's going to do enough. But it is his first victory of the season out of the final corner. Magnolia Oliveira Alfa Romeo takes victory in race 2. P2 for Aaron. Pagani comes home P3. 4th for Sean. Panda holds off Graham for P5. And P6 Chubbs P7. Covering after his spin. Kuska can get some dirt out of the final corner, but he recovers to P8. And he's going to hang on for P9 and the battle for P10. So I've got to run out the final corner. I'm not going to have enough. Just going to hang on for P10. Heatman back with a double dozen. P12 for him again. And blue flag. A race to forget in that Suzuki. At least he's got it out of the way. That is P13. Running off the scores, and so week 1 over and done. Victories for Tom and Aaron.
Yeah, was quite delighted with that one, I must say. We
So this is probably your favourite circuit of the calendar, maybe, or maybe next.
But I mean, to be fair, there's a couple. I mean, next week we've got Sardegna, which I'm a fan of. There's also we've got Bathurst on the grid. I do like Monza, so I've got a relatively good record at Brands GP-ish. So yeah, should be good. But with the pole position in mind, I think I ended the week on 32 points. Pagani ended up in second on 29, SPY on 27, T. Smith on 26, and Chubbs 23. Graham in 6th on 22. Panda and Cusker were joint 7th on 21. And then there was a little bit of a drop back to yourself, Lee, in P9 on 14. Then Mikey on 13. Blue Flag on 12. Peatman on 11. And then no scores from Ross, from Jonesy, and for Steph. So looking forward to next week. It should be an absolute cracker. Practice has already started. I think Mr. T. Smith is hosting a practice lobby straight after this, which I imagine a few of us will jump into. But nevertheless, it is absolutely wonderful to be back. Please do all like the stream before you leave. It will take you 1 second of your time. Very much looking forward to it. It's nice to have a little bit of content back. I know there's plenty of people watching. Some of my family members, namely the legend Grandad Bob, is watching.
Hello, Grandad Bob.
Hello, Grandad Bob. Show Grandad Bob some love in the chat. He's been a bit poorly of late, so hopefully he's doing well. Looking forward to seeing you soon, mate. And everybody else, thank you as always for coming in and plenty of comments and watching the stream and having a laugh. Is what it's all about. We'll look forward to next week. We go again, and I'm sure it'll be the inevitable T. Smith that will be somewhere towards the front. If practice is anything to go by, he probably already finished the race. So it's going to be good. Right, au revoir. Any closing words from you, Lee, or are you all good?
No, just say it's good to be back. Good back racing. Good to be back streaming. And thanks for sticking with us and tuning in. And,
absolutely.
Provide you another 7 weeks of great racing action.
Yep. And away we go. Right. Well, thank you everybody for watching this evening, and we look forward to next week. It'll be on Sundays on or around 8 o'clock. Obviously, we'll always keep to that time. If that does need to change, obviously we will always notify you. But yeah, races will be on Friday evenings, and the streams will be on Sunday evenings, and there'll be a bit of a mix up in the commentary booth over the course of the season. So thank you, and have a lovely end to your weekend and a good week ahead, and we'll see you next time.
Auf Wiedersehen.